Several commercially made temporary hot boxes are available. These devices generally include a screw and fuse, an outlet, and approximately 18-inch leads with alligator clips. These are often used for service changeouts, providing temporary power. Let's consider some commercially available options. Firstly, the Klein Tools temporary power outlet box, model ET516, includes the screw and fuse, outlet, and the 18-inch leads with alligator clips. Secondly, the Southwire temporary power box, model 42102, is similar to the Klein Tools box, but features a weather-resistant design. Thirdly, the Ideal Industries temporary power outlet box, model 35-520, features a heavy-duty construction and also has 18-inch leads. Fourthly, the Hubbell wiring devices temporary power outlet box, model HBL 7446, has a compact design with a built-in fuse holder. Fifthly, the Gardner Bender temporary power outlet box, model GONIMANUS 737, includes a fuse holder and 18-inch leads with insulated alligator clips. These commercially made temporary hot boxes are available at electrical supply houses or online retailers. They are designed to provide temporary power during service changeouts or emergency situations. It is important to always use caution when working with electricity and to follow all safety protocols. When selecting a temporary hotbox, consider the specific requirements of the job. Factors to consider may include the amperage rating, the voltage rating, the weather resistance, and the overall durability of the unit. Always inspect the hotbox before each use to ensure that it is in good working condition. Check the leads for any signs of damage, and make sure that the fuse is properly installed and of the correct amperage rating. When connecting the hotbox to the service drop, be sure to follow all safety procedures. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. Ensure that the power is disconnected before making any connections. Use properly rated connectors and ensure that all connections are secure. Never work on electrical equipment when it is wet or damp. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation, consult with a qualified electrician. Temporary hotboxes are useful tools for providing temporary power, but it is crucial to use them safely and responsibly. Regular inspection and adherence to safety protocols are essential for preventing accidents and injuries. Remember, electricity can be dangerous, so always take the necessary precautions. If the fuse blows, identify and correct the overload or short circuit before replacing the fuse. Use only fuses of the correct amperage rating. Using a fuse with a higher amperage rating can damage the equipment and create a fire hazard. When disconnecting the hotbox, follow the same safety procedures as when connecting it. Disconnect the power before removing any connections. Inspect the hotbox again after each use to ensure that it is still in good working condition. Store the hotbox in a dry and secure location when it is not in use. Keep it away from flammable materials and out of reach of children. Proper storage will help to prolong the life of the hotbox and ensure that it is ready for use when you need it. Consider also the environment in which the hotbox will be used. For example, if it will be exposed to rain or snow, a weather-resistant model is a must. If it will be used in a dusty or dirty environment, a model with a sealed enclosure is recommended. Pay attention to the gauge of the leads. The lead should be heavy enough to carry the required amperage without overheating. If the leads are too small, they can overheat and cause a fire. Also, ensure that the alligator clips are properly insulated and in good working condition. Replace any damaged or worn clips immediately. Alligator clips are used to make temporary connections to electrical conductors, but they can be dangerous if they are not properly insulated. Ensure that the insulation is intact and free of cracks or damage. If you are using the hotbox to power tools or equipment, make sure that the tools or equipment are properly grounded. Grounding helps to protect against electric shock. If the tools or equipment are not grounded, a ground fault can cause a dangerous voltage to appear on the metal parts of the tool or equipment. This voltage can cause a severe electric shock if someone touches the metal parts. When working with electricity, it is always best to err on the side of caution. If you are unsure about anything, consult with a qualified electrician. Electricity is a powerful force, and it can be dangerous if it is not handled properly. Also, consider the amperage capacity of the temporary hot box. Ensure it is adequate for the intended use. Overloading the hot box can cause it to overheat, potentially leading to a fire or equipment damage. Check the manufacturer's specifications for the maximum amperage rating and do not exceed it. Pay attention to the type of outlet in the temporary hot box. Some hot boxes have standard 120 volts outlets, while others have 240 volts outlets. Make sure the outlet type is compatible with the equipment you plan to use. Using the wrong type of outlet can damage the equipment or create a safety hazard. When connecting the alligator clips to the service drop, ensure a secure and reliable connection. Poor connections can cause arcing, overheating, and voltage drop. Clean the conductors before attaching the clips to remove any dirt or corrosion that may interfere with the connection. Apply a small amount of antioxidant compound to the conductors to prevent corrosion and improve conductivity. These temporary hot boxes are valuable for various scenarios beyond just service changeouts. For example, they can be used to provide temporary power during construction projects, repairs, or emergency situations. They can also be useful for powering temporary lighting or equipment at outdoor events. Consider the specific needs of the application when selecting a temporary hotbox. Some models may be better suited for certain applications than others. For example, a weather assistant model is ideal for outdoor use, while a heavy-duty model is better suited for demanding construction environments. Before using a temporary hotbox, familiarize yourself with all applicable safety regulations and guidelines. Consult the National Electrical Code or other relevant standards for specific requirements related to temporary power installations. Ensure that you have the necessary training and qualifications to perform the work safely and effectively. Improper installation or use of a temporary hotbox can create a serious safety hazard. When using a temporary hotbox, regularly monitor its performance and check for any signs of problems. Look for overheating, arcing, or unusual noises. If you notice any issues, immediately disconnect the hotbox and investigate the cause. Do not attempt to repair a damaged hotbox unless you are qualified to do so. Consider the warranty offered by the manufacturer when selecting a temporary hotbox. A good warranty can provide peace of mind and protect you against defects in materials or workmanship. Read the warranty carefully to understand the terms and conditions. Some warranties may not cover certain types of damage or misuse. Also consider the availability of replacement parts for the temporary hotbox. If a component fails, it is important to be able to obtain a replacement quickly and easily. Some manufacturers offer a wide range of replacement parts, while others may have limited availability. Consider the overall cost of ownership when selecting a temporary hotbox. The initial purchase price is only one factor to consider. Also, factor in the cost of maintenance, repairs, and replacement parts. A cheaper model may seem appealing at first, but it may end up costing more in the long run if it requires frequent repairs or replacements. Always disconnect the temporary hotbox when it is not in use. Leaving it connected unnecessarily can waste energy and increase the risk of accident. Disconnecting the hotbox also helps to prolong its lifespan. When disposing of a temporary hotbox, follow all applicable environmental regulations. Some components may contain hazardous materials that require special handling. Contact your local waste management agency for information on proper disposal procedures. Consider the weight and size of the temporary hotbox, especially if you need to transport it frequently. A lightweight and compact model is easier to carry and store. However, a smaller model may not have the same power capacity as a larger model. Choose a size that is appropriate for your needs. When working with electricity, it is always important to be aware of your surroundings. Watch out for overhead power lines, underground cables, and other potential hazards. Maintain a safe distance from any electrical equipment and avoid contact with water or wet surfaces. If you are working in a confined space, ensure that there is adequate ventilation. Working in a poorly ventilated area can lead to a buildup of fumes or gases, which can be dangerous. If you are working at heights, use appropriate fall protection equipment. Falls are a leading cause of injuries in the workplace. Make sure that you have a stable work platform and that you are properly secured. When using a temporary hotbox, keep it away from flammable materials. Sparks or heat from the hotbox can ignite flammable materials, causing a fire. Store flammable materials in a safe location away from any electrical equipment. If you are working in an area with a high risk of fire, have a fire extinguisher readily available. Make sure that you know how to use the fire extinguisher properly. Regularly inspect the fire extinguisher to ensure that it is in good working condition. Consider the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, with temporary hotboxes. GFCIs are designed to protect against electric shock by quickly shutting off the power in the event of a ground fault. GFCIs are especially important when working in wet or damp environments. Use extension cords with temporary hotboxes only when necessary. Extension cords can create a tripping hazard and can also reduce the voltage available to the equipment being powered. If you must use an extension cord, choose one that is the appropriate gauge for the amperage being drawn. Avoid using multiple extension cords connected together, as this can overload the circuit. Never bury extension cords or run them through doorways or windows where they can be damaged. When using a temporary hotbox, be sure to follow all manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide important information about the safe and proper use of the hotbox. Read the instructions carefully before using the hotbox for the first time. Keep the instructions in a safe place for future reference. If you have any questions or concerns about the use of a temporary hotbox, contact the manufacturer or a qualified electrician. They can provide you with expert advice and guidance. Staying informed and up to date on the latest safety practices is essential for working safely with electricity. Attend training courses, read industry publications, and participate in safety meetings to stay informed. Share your knowledge with others and promote a culture of safety in the workplace. Consider the long-term sustainability of your temporary power solutions. Explore options for using renewable energy sources such as solar power to reduce your reliance on traditional power grids. Implement energy-efficient practices to minimize your energy consumption. By taking a proactive approach to sustainability, you can reduce your environmental impact and save money on energy costs. Regularly review your temporary power procedures and identify areas for improvement. Seek feedback from workers and incorporate their suggestions into your safety practices. Continuously improve your processes to enhance safety, efficiency, and sustainability. When purchasing temporary hotboxes, consider buying from reputable suppliers who offer high-quality products and excellent customer service. Check for certifications and approvals from recognized testing organizations. Look for suppliers who stand behind their products and offer comprehensive warranties. Develop a comprehensive emergency plan for dealing with electrical accidents. The plan should include procedures for shutting off power, providing first aid, and contacting emergency services. Train workers on the emergency plan and conduct regular drills to ensure that everyone knows what to do in the event of an emergency. Consider the potential for arc flash when working with temporary hotboxes. Arc flash is a dangerous electrical hazard that can cause severe burns and other injuries. Conduct an arc flash hazard assessment to determine the potential risks and implement appropriate safety measures. Use arc-rated personal protective equipment and follow safe work practices to minimize the risk of arc flash injuries. Temporary hotboxes can be valuable tools for providing temporary power, but they must be used safely and responsibly. By following these guidelines and staying informed, you can minimize the risks and ensure a safe working environment. Always remember that electricity is a powerful force and should be treated with respect. When in doubt, consult with a qualified electrician. Ensure that all employees who will be using temporary hotboxes receive proper training on their safe operation and maintenance. Training should cover topics such as hazard recognition, safe work practices, and emergency procedures. Provide refresher training regularly to reinforce key concepts and address any new developments. Keep accurate records of all training activities. In addition to training, Provide employees with access to clear and concise written procedures for using temporary hot boxes. The procedures should outline the steps involved in setting up, operating, and disconnecting the hot boxes. Include diagrams and illustrations to help employees understand the procedures. Make the procedures readily available to employees in both print and electronic formats. Conduct regular inspections of temporary hotboxes to identify any potential hazards or maintenance needs. Inspections should cover all components, including the enclosure, wiring, connectors, and fuses. Use a checklist to ensure that all items are inspected thoroughly. Document the results of each inspection and take prompt corrective action to address any deficiencies. Establish a system for tracking and managing temporary hotboxes. The system should include information on the location, condition, and usage of each hotbox. Use the system to schedule maintenance and repairs and to prevent the loss or theft of hotboxes. Consider using a barcode or RFID system to track the hotboxes more efficiently. Regularly review and update your temporary power safety program to ensure that it remains effective and relevant. Incorporate feedback from employees, lessons learned from incidents, and changes in industry standards or regulations. Conduct a formal program review at least annually and make any necessary adjustments. By implementing a comprehensive temporary power safety program, you can significantly reduce the risk of electrical accidents and injuries. A well-designed program will protect employees, equipment, and property. Remember that safety is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. Consider the use of color coding to identify temporary power circuits and equipment. Use different colors to distinguish between different voltage levels or circuit types. This can help to prevent accidental connections and reduce the risk of electrical shock. For example, you could use yellow to indicate 120-volt circuits and orange to indicate 240-volt circuits. Post clear and conspicuous warning signs near temporary power installations. The sign should warn of potential electrical hazards and provide instructions for safe operation. Use standard symbols and terminology to ensure that the signs are easily understood. Place the signs in locations where they are readily visible to workers and the public. When using temporary hotboxes outdoors, protect them from the elements. Use weatherproof enclosures or covers to prevent water or snow from entering the hotboxes. Elevate the hotboxes off the ground to prevent them from being damaged by flooding or standing water. Provide adequate drainage to prevent water from accumulating around the hotboxes. Regularly inspect the weather protection to ensure that it is still effective. Consider the use of portable generators as an alternative to temporary hotboxes. Portable generators can provide a reliable source of power in areas where there is no access to the electrical grid. However, portable generators must be used safely to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning, electrical shock, and fire. Follow all manufacturers' instructions and safety guidelines when using portable generators. Never operate a portable generator indoors or in a confined space. Always ensure that there is adequate ventilation. Regularly inspect the generator for any signs of damage or leaks. Consider the use of uninterruptible power supplies, or UPSs, with temporary hotboxes. UPS provide a backup power source in the event of a power outage. This can be especially important for critical equipment or applications where even a brief interruption in power can cause problems. Choose a UPS that is sized appropriately for the load being powered. Regularly test the UPS to ensure that it is functioning properly. When working with temporary power, be aware of the potential for induced voltage. Induced voltage is a voltage that is induced on a conductor by a nearby energized conductor. Induced voltage can be hazardous even if the conductor is not directly connected to a power source. Use appropriate grounding techniques to minimize the risk of induced voltage. Always test conductors for voltage before working on them, even if they are supposed to be de-energized. Consider the use of temporary lighting to improve visibility and safety in work areas. Use adequate lighting to illuminate potential hazards and to prevent slips, trips, and falls. Position the lighting to avoid glare and shadows. Use energy-efficient lighting to reduce energy consumption and costs. Regularly inspect the lighting to ensure that it is functioning properly. Consider the potential for vandalism or theft when using temporary hotboxes in public areas. Secure the hotboxes to prevent them from being moved or damaged. Use tamper-resistant hardware to prevent unauthorized access. Consider using surveillance cameras to monitor the hotboxes. Work with local law enforcement to deter vandalism and theft. Always prioritize safety when working with temporary power. Take the time to plan your work carefully and to identify potential hazards. Follow safe work practices and use appropriate personal protective equipment. If you're unsure about anything, consult with a qualified electrician. Remember that safety is everyone's responsibility. By working together, we can create a safe and productive work environment.